While the Russians appear to be making strides on the vaccine front, Western scientists are skeptical about how quickly the development occurred. This does come as Russia is facing criticism following the poisoning of a top opponent of Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Alexei Navalny, he's probably the most popular and the most effective Russian political leader against Vladimir Putin.
This is Luke Coffey, Russia expert at the Heritage Foundation.
He became unwell while he was at his party's office in Siberia. And at first they weren't quite sure what the deal was, why he was unwell. He was taken to the hospital. And then after some speculation as to what the cause could be, he was finally airlifted to Germany, where the doctors there stated that he was in fact poisoned by a nerve agent, Novichok, which is the same that was used in Salisbury, England, about a year and a half ago against another Russian dissident that was living in England at the time. So this is basically the second time in as many years that the Russian state has used a chemical weapon, a nerve agent, to try to silence and kill political opponents.
It's pretty bizarre that you have state actors now still in the world using nerve agents against their opposition. Is this the type of thing that would have to be signed off on by President Putin? And how does this change Russia's ability to operate, if at all, on the world stage?
Well, it would have to get the blessing from the very top of the Russian state. So I would find it hard to believe that Vladimir Putin was not aware of either of these incidents, the one in Salisbury in England or this most recent against Navalny. And both attacks were very audacious. In the Salisbury case, the perpetrators did not take any effort to hide their whereabouts or their identity on cameras and CCTV as they traveled from London by train out to Salisbury to conduct the attack. And in this most recent case with Navalny, two men just ran into the political office I was referring to. One held the door open while the other one allegedly ran in and threw a yellowish chemical towards him. So they are not even trying to hide what they're doing. And I think what they are trying to do is send a message, a very clear message to political opponents around the world that you could be inside Russia, in Siberia, inside of your political party's office, or you can be on the streets of the United Kingdom, and you are still at risk if you rub Putin the wrong way. So I think really they're sending a message.
Talk to me a little bit about how Russia controls their messages. I find it interesting that media in Russia often doesn't have the ability to report fully on these types of situations. And whether we're talking about poisonings or the race for a COVID-19 vaccine or a variety of other issues of international interest, the Russians seem to have the ability to put the narrative in their direction that they would like to be viewed in.
Yeah, without a doubt, there is a lack of diversity and opinion in the Russian media, and that probably derives from the lack of basic freedoms of the press among Russian media outlets. But you have seen this void being filled, this void of a lack of diversity and opinions and views being filled by social media, of course, which is harder for the Russian state to crack down on. And you have seen also in recent months large numbers of protesters all across Russia protesting for different reasons, often all united in the view that Russia under Vladimir Putin is not any better off now than it was 10 or 15 years ago. And there's a general feeling of discontent among many parts of Russian society. And so while you may not see some of the grumblings manifest themselves through traditional media outlets, certainly these feelings, this resentment towards Vladimir Putin, some of the, to give one example is with, you mentioned the vaccine, the alleged vaccine. There's been protesting and calls for strikes by teachers who are being told that they have to take this vaccine even though it hasn't completed the very important phase 3 human testing stage yet. And they're saying, enough is enough, we're not guinea pigs. So as Vladimir Putin's problems compound domestically, whether it's the poor economic situation, the drop in the price of oil, the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic, or even internationally where Russia is facing huge setbacks in Syria and in Libya, you can expect Putin to become more desperate, and you could expect equally the population will become more desperate on how they try to express their grievances as well.
You've been listening to Luke Coffey, Russia expert at the Heritage Foundation.